When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
A Quebec biologist is set to join an FBI committee working on the tools of the future that detectives will use to solve crime. It's our pleasure to welcome her onto the program. Sarah Noël is a biologist at the Laboratory of Forensic Sciences and Legal Medicine of Quebec. Sarah, thanks for coming on the show.
Hi, good morning.
So why don't you tell me a bit about your current line of work? What do you do, and explain for our audience, your day-to-day work.
Yeah, so I am a forensic biologist. So most of my time is devoted to casework. So let's say I work on a murder case. I will start by communicating with detectives on the case so I can have a good sense of what expertise they need. I will then examine the exhibits. That could be some items of clothing, weapons, tools, and so on. I will then search for biological substances such as blood or saliva, and then look at the results of the DNA analysis and write the report that is sent to detectives.
Sarah, that sounds so absolutely cool. I'm listening to you and I'm thinking about all the TV shows that you can watch on TV, and it's very much, something that I'm sure a lot of people who have watched crime shows their whole lives are listening to this and going, wow, that's so cool. How did you get into this? Was this something you were always interested in, or did you fall into it?
Well, when I was 17 years old, I had the opportunity to go and visit the forensic lab. And so during this visit, I learned all about the ways that DNA was used to help solve crimes. And it really was a revelation. It was in, I think, 94, before TV shows like CSI became very popular. So I really discovered the forensic field of work, and it became my dream job.
Wow. Well, it certainly sounds like a dream job. If it's something that you know and love, it sounds like it'd be a very just a career that you feel you're doing good. Now, you're also now have begun to work with the FBI. Can you tell us about this? What is this committee that you're on?
Well, the committee is composed of scientists that represent forensic laboratories in the United States and America. And during the meetings, which takes place twice a year, the group discusses subjects of interest, such as the improvements of methods, the training of new scientists, new technologies. And the committee also develops documents that serve as guidelines and best practices, recommendations for the forensic labs, and it can also recommend or conduct research to develop new interesting methods.
We're with forensic biologist Sarah Noël, and she's recently joined an FBI committee looking at the tools of the future to solve crime. So, Sarah, does the FBI find you for this? Do you apply? How do you get on this committee?
This is a committee that works by invitation. Mm-hmm. So I received an email last December that invited me to be part of this committee, and I was very surprised. I did not expect this invitation, but it's an honor to be on this committee.
And you must have been suggested by people. Obviously, you must have a fantastic reputation. I don't want you to just give yourself kudos here, but clearly you've got a CV that says you're an all-star in this field, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's not only me. We work as a team in the lab, and this is a field that is evolving very quickly. So every time we want to implement something at the lab, we have to make studies and validate it. And with the recent developments that we have worked on, me and my two colleagues, and Dominique Granger and José Noël, we have published the results of our validation, and we have presented in meetings. So this is how we got noticed by the FBI.
And what is some of that new research that you've been doing, new work that is getting interest from the FBI and others?
Well, so it's mostly related to the way we calculate probabilities for DNA evidence, where there is a match between DNA that is found at a crime scene and DNA from a suspect. So this is quite a new method, which is called probabilistic genotyping, and it allows us to analyze very complex DNA results that were considered unusable a few years ago.
So can you give us an example of something that would have been unusable a few years ago and now, oh, geez, we can use this as evidence?
Yeah, for example, if we have, for a murder case, we have a hammer that has been used, this is the weapon of the crime. If we swab the handle of the hammer, if the hammer has been handled by many persons, we can have a DNA result that is very complex. You can have DNA from 3, 4, 5%. And so before probabilistic genotyping, when we had complex results like that, we could not use them. So now it's possible with probabilistic genotyping.
And one other thing that we've seen a couple of very high-profile cases that have been solved thanks to private DNA banks, right? And there's a lot of ethical and moral issues when it comes to that kind of stuff. Sarah, how much are you someone who's like, okay, keep the moral and ethical things out of me, I'm just going to focus on the work, or are you like really interested in those aspects as well?
Well, I'm a scientific, so I'm mostly interested in the scientific aspects of it. So what you're talking about is what we call investigative genetic genealogy, which where we use not private, but public DNA databanks for criminal investigation. And this is the case here where the science goes faster than the law. So this is an approach that works. It's been shown to work in the United States, but we still need to look at if it's usable here, to work in Quebec. It depends on how much Quebecers of relatives of Quebecers we have in those banks, so that it could be applied here. Also.
And what would you say in general when you look at the methodology, the way we work here in Quebec? Would you say we're, let's say compared to our North American cousins around the continent, are we like on the leading edge, or would you say we're behind? We're like with everyone. Like, how would you say Quebec ranks?
Yeah, I can say that we can be proud of the work that is done here in Quebec. We are really following all the new technologies and trying to implement them as soon as it's possible.
All right. Well, to all our listeners, don't even think about crime because Sarah Noël is on the case. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Thank you.
It's a real pleasure to talk to you. That's Sarah Noël, forensic biologist. She's from the Laboratory of Forensic Sciences and Legal Medicine of Quebec, and now going to be on this FBI committee working on the tools of the future for detectives trying to solve crime.